Hello everyone, it's Octodraws, and this is lesson 4, the declension of O-stem neuters. I hope you're having a wonderful day and you're ready to learn some ancient Greek. Pan dendron, agaton carpus calus poie. Every good tree bringeth forth good fruit. And this is from St. Matthew, and it tells you that down below. I tried to line up the words so you can see every is pan, good, agaton, tree is dendron, calus, good, carpus, fruit, poie, bringeth forth, or makes. I think it's a little bit easier if you just say every good tree makes good fruit. 21. O-stem neuters. These nouns have a nominative ending in on. They differ from masculines only in the nominative singular and the nominative and accusative plural. However, I do want you to remember the accusative singular article does change. As you can see right here and here, it's not ha, like what you would expect with masculine. It changes to ta. As in Latin, the nominative and accusative of neuters are identical in form. In the plural, they end in alpha, Latin a. So you can see right here that these alphas, that is your accusative and nominative plural, and they're the same. This is an Indo-European trend. Ta axion doron, the worthy gift. Now the book shows you how to decline it, and it wants you to inflect ta kalon pedion, so that you follow the same rules and memorize it. I'm not going to do that. The agreement of verb. A neuter plural subject regularly has its verb in the singular. Ta dora ein axia. So the gifts were worthy. So despite there being a plural ending, as you can see with ta, dora, axia, so that's plural, it has a singular verb. And these all combined make the three noble truths of neuter nouns, that the nominative and accusative are always the same, the nominative and accusative plural always end in a or alpha. Lastly, the verbs have a singular number despite being plural. 23. Dative of place where. The dative with most prepositions denotes place where. And with this, it makes you want to think of a set location without any motion. You can see en toi pedioi, in the plain, para toi strategoi, at the side of the general. And it's this in and that at that lets you know that it's dative if you're ever going to be translating from English into Greek. 24. Accusative of place to which. The accusative with many prepositions denotes place to which. So with the accusative, you should be expecting a go verb, such as bino or a me, to tell you that you're motioning into something, into a certain place. And the difference between accusative and dative is the fact that dative lacks motion, whereas the accusative has it. So one good way of thinking about the cases and location is thinking that G is coming from something going outwards, dative is not moving at all, stays in one spot, and the accusative has motion towards itself. 25. Vocabulary. De, which is probably the most common word in ancient Greek, it contracts to de when there are vowels in front of it. This is a postpositive word, meaning that it's almost always going to be the second word in the clause or sentence. It's a particle, but it's also a conjunction, and it means but or and, but most times it's not going to be translated because it's not a real word. Dendron, ta, tree. As an example of etymology, they give you rhododendron, meaning rose tree. Delos, plain evident. After delos, you should probably expect a dative, and it's clear to, and then a person. Doron, ta, gift. As etymology, it gives you Theodore, meaning a gift from God. Ace, it's proclitic, it's a preposition, and it takes the accusative, and it means into. So ace has this motion towards, and then it follows by an accusative. So you can think of ace kind of like this, where ace will be here, then immediately after, there will be an accusative noun. It's equivalent to in Latin. En is proclitic, it's a preposition, and it takes the dative. So there's going to be a dative immediately after it, and it's in. The translation for it is in. In Latin, it's also in. For etymology, they give you the word enclitic. So clino, where you get clitic, means to lean. Then you have en, so to lean in. Para, preposition. This takes a genitive, meaning from the side of. It also can use a dative, which is by the side of. And lastly, it can use accusative, and it's to the side of or alongside. This preposition is a really good example of the case attracting the preposition and not the preposition attracting the case. And what I mean by that is that the meaning of the preposition is caked into the ending that follows, not really within itself. For in etymology, it gives you parallel. So alalos, another, para, alongside. So it's two lines that are alongside one another. Pedion, ta. The plain, stadion, ta, stadium. It also means race course, or it's also a unit of measurement of around 600 feet. So I'm just going to give you a second to pause the video before I spoil all the exercises. All right, exercises 26. A. What probable use of the word is denoted by the heavy type endings? I wish that it would just say bolded. It would make it so much easier. So what this wants you to do is identify the case by the ending, and then you have to guess one answer to what that case is doing. In this case, pediu is in the genitive, so you can guess that it's in possession, or you could also say that it's genitive because it's place from which, either of which is correct because you don't have the context to fill you in. So axion has the on ending, so that has to be either the subject or direct object because it's accusative. We don't actually know because on can be both nominative and accusative. In the same way, we have dela, which can be the subject or the direct object because it's nominative, accusative, plural, and those are the same in the neuter. We need more context to know dendron, which is genitive because of this own ending. So it could be possession or motion away from. Dorois. This could be the indirect object because it's dative plural, or it could be a location where something happens. At. Next we have stadioi, and this is going to be dative as well with this oi ending, so it could be the indirect object or the location. B. Translate. Entoi pedioi dela, enta dendra. The trees were evident in the plain. This is a really good example of having this plural ending, so that means that the subject is plural, but you have ein, which is a singular verb. 2. Stadion ein paratoi patamoi. The stadium was by the side of the river. Could also be at the side of the river because of this para with dative. 3. We have kai eis ta stadion agusi dora kala. So agusi is they lead, kai even because it's not connecting anything, so it has to be an adverb, it can't be a conjunction. Eis ta stadion, into the stadium, and they lead, you should expect an accusative, dora kala, the pretty gifts. Altogether, it's they even lead the pretty gifts into the stadium. 4. Hoi de delpoi etelusin hippus pempein paratus pilus. Our subject is hoi adelpoi in the nominative, the brothers. Etelusin, want. Now that we have etelusin, we should look for a infinitive, which is pempein. So they want to send. What do they want to send? The horses, para, alongside or to the side of, tus pilus, their friends. 5. Para tu strategu entadora. So the gifts were, and you can see that this has a singular verb, even though there is a plural subject because it's neuter. The gifts were from the general, because general, strategu, is in the genitive. 6. Ek tu pediu agamen tus polemius. Agamen, we lead, tus polemius, the enemies, out of the plain. Ek tu pediu, because it's in the genitive. 7. Ha danthropos axios ein doron kalon. Ha danthropos axios, so the man, he was ein, axios, worthy, and then here's your genitive of worth or value. He was worthy of doron, which are gifts, and they're described as beautiful. You can hear this called either the genitive of cost or value. C. Complete. 1. Ta de dendra ein, mikra. Ta dendra is our subject, and because it's neuter, you know that it's going to have a singular verb. And that's why it's ein and not esan. 2. Hippus dagete eis ton patamon. Agete is you lead, hippus, the horses, eis ton patamon. You know that eis is always going to have an accusative following it, so it's going to be ton patamon, into the river. 3. En toi stadioi esan hoi adelpoi. The boys were in, you know, en is going to take a dative, toi stadioi, because it's probably not going to be multiple stadiums, but one stadium. D. Write in Greek. 1. The stones were beautiful. So our subject, the stones, is going to be hoi litoi. And even though this is an inanimate object, it's still masculine with this hoi ending. So it's going to take a san instead of ein. Hoi litoi a san kaloi. 2. The brave messenger was hostile to the general. Ha agatos angelos ein polemios toi strategoi. I kept the word order mostly the same. So brave agatos messenger is angelos, was ein, hostile polemios to the general is toi strategoi. 3. The friends have fine horses. The friends is going to be our subject, so it's nominative. Hoi piloi, have, our main verb, ekusi, fine, kalus, horses, and we should expect that to be in the accusative because it's the direct object, so fine is kalus, and horses is hippus. 4. He wishes to lead the men out of danger. We don't need to translate he, we just need it in the verb ending. Etele means he wishes, and you know that it's he because of this ending. To lead, we should expect an infinitive, again, the men. Here we should have an accusative because it's a direct object, because he wants to lead these people, and it directly takes again, tus anthropus, out, which is just a preposition, meaning ek, of danger, in the genitive because of this of ending, and because ek is going to take it. Tu kindunu. Altogether, it's etele agen tous anthropus ek tu kindunu. 5. The brothers were hostile to the messenger. Our subject is the brothers, so it's going to be in the nominative hoi adelpoi. Our verb is were, which gets translated to esan. Hostile, which is also going to be nominative because it's going to be agreeing with adelpoi. The brothers were hostile, so polemioi, to the messenger. Toi angiloi, and this is going to be in the dative with this toi oi ending because of this too. The stadium in Delphi. Ta and Delpoi Stadion. As you can see, I've actually been here. I got to visit. I was racing. This is me prepping for it. This ancient Greek stadium, perhaps the best preserved of all, is located on the slopes of Parnassus, high above a lovely valley. Here, every 4 years were held the famous Pythian Games in honor of Apollo. And yes, they would all get in here and compete in the nude. So I hope that you really enjoyed this video. I hope that you give it a thumbs up. Remember, be positive, be yourself. Peace.